Have you ever eaten chinchin made with ripe plantains? This year that you are seeing, oh my goodness, it is so sumptuous, so crucial and delicious. This chinchin right here, I used just one ripe plantain and one egg. Guys, I'm gonna walk you guys through a step-by-step process on how I achieve this. Now, in front of you, you can see these ones, I use a scissors to cut my dough. Then I transition in using a knife, like you can see in the video. And this was my final result of my chinchin. Let's begin. I'll begin by using one ripe plantain. And as you can see, I peeled my ripe plantain. The plantain was so ripe that I had to use my hands. I now move in with a knife to cut them into smaller parts that I will be able to blend. In a blender, I will open my blender. Then I'll go in with my chopped ripe plantain. As you can see, now it is ready to be blended. In this ripe plantain, I go in with one raw egg. Just one raw egg is what I'm using for this recipe. I will now go in with small quantity of room temperature water. Now it's time for me to blend. I will use my lid. I cover it. Then it is ready to be blended. It is time to blend our ripe plantain. I'll go ahead and start blending. Once you realize a smooth paste, then it is now time to remove it. Look at it, guys. This is a puree form. It is now ready. I will set this aside. An empty bowl, I will sieve my all-purpose flour. I'm using all-purpose flour, but you can make use of any flour of your choice. This is 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I'll go in with half teaspoon of baking powder and I sieve again, followed by 2 tablespoonfuls of cornstarch. Then I sieve again. 3 tablespoonfuls of ground sugar. Depending on your preference taste, you can add more if you wish, but I'm going in with just 3 tablespoonfuls of ground sugar. 3 tablespoonfuls of powdered milk. In the place of powdered milk, you can add milk flavor, but this recipe I'm using powdered milk. Now I will gently mix everything to incorporate well. Next, I'll go in with my salted butter and I'm going to use my hands to mix very well. I'll be mixing until I acquire a sandy texture. So I just have to keep mixing. Keep mixing. Okay. Remember our blended ripe plantains that we earlier blend with 1 egg. It is now time for me to go in with the mixture. I will now go in with vanilla flavor, a tablespoonful of vanilla flavor. At this point, you can go in with any flavor of your choice. I will now use my hands to mix the mixture. So I will gently mix the mixture well until everything is well incorporated. Keep mixing until you form a cross dough or a breakable dough. At this point, I have not yet achieved what I want, so I'll keep mixing. At this point, I've achieved what I want, guys. Look at it. Look at it. You see how it is breaking? This is what I want. Okay. So guys, this is how our dough looks like. So it is time for me to start rolling. I will now sprinkle some flour on my working surface. On my working surface, I'll go in with my dough. I'll cut it into smaller parts. So these are the sizes I want. I will now put some quantity in my bowl, thereby creating space for rolling. Now I'll pick up one and I'm going to use my hands to roll. You can use a rolling stick to roll, but I decide to use my hands. I will roll until I realize a long stick. I'll keep rolling until I realize a long stick. At this point, you can use a scissors to cut this, or you can use a knife. So I'll be using both. Like you can see on this video, I started with a knife. So this is the desired shape I want. Let me first of all start with a knife before I go with a scissors. So guys, I'm using scissors to cut my dough to my desired shape that I want. So I first of all started with knife, and then I move in with scissors. So I'll show you guys the difference between using scissors and a knife. So this one, this is the shape of a scissors. I use a scissors to come out with this, and this one I use a knife. Now it is time for me to start frying. In a pot, I'll go in with my cooking vegetable oil that I'll be using for frying. I will start frying in a moderate heat. Now it's frying time. Okay. So I've been frying for close to 5 minutes. It's now time to remove this one from the stove. This is the first batch. Okay. I like the color. This is the first batch. Let me continue frying. Okay, let's come back here and continue frying. This is the second batch, and it is now ready. I love the color, so I'll remove this. Look at it. Okay, let's continue. Guys, I'm done frying, and this is how our chinchin looks like. So allow this to sit and cool. The more it cools down, the more it becomes crunchier. This is how it looks like. Okay, you can see how crunchy it is. Look at our chinchin, guys. This is made from ripe plantain. So we are done frying. This is the final result of what we have. Guys, it is now time to enjoy. Marry with your friends and your loved ones. It's time to enjoy. Oh my goodness. Do you see this? Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I love you all, and I'll see you in next video. Bye.